Sawadee krap. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and friends from CKE. Thank you for inviting me to this very nice event. My name is Stephen from ITW GSE, and I'm honored to be here to present to you about sustainability at the airport. For those who may not know us, ITW GSE is a global leader in the aviation segment. We focus a lot on just power supply to the aircraft, as well as preconditioned air to the aircraft. ITW is committed to supply the world with the most reliable, the cleanest, and the most efficient GSE market in the aviation market. We are founded in 1924, and we'll be celebrating 100 years next year. And to date, we have supplied more than 90,000 units globally. There has been a lot of talk about sustainability, environmental issues, and we feel it today because of global warming. And we know that today we have rising seawater level, more intense rainfall, and more extreme weather conditions. So it is important for us to slow down global warming, making the right decisions, for the better future of our next generation. In the airport segment, there's an Airport Council International, or ACI, that actually has a carbon accreditations program. So airport basically voluntarily embark on this program called the Airport Carbon Accreditations. And there are 6 levels in this program, where airport can measure their carbon emissions, ways to reduce carbon, as well as carbon neutral. In Asia, there are about 61 airports that is in this program, and part of it is from AOT airports. So where are the main source of carbon emission at the airport? Of course, when the aircraft is at the ground, actually there's also a main source of carbon emission. We know that the main engines are turned off when the aircraft is on the ground. But if you look at the end of the aircraft, there is something called the APU, or Auxiliary Power Unit. This is a gas turbine engines that generates power and air to the aircraft when the aircraft is on the ground. But airlines do not want to operate APU because it's very costly to run and it's also very expensive to maintain the APU. As for the airport, they also don't want to run the APU for the airlines because it is environmental unfriendly. There's a lot of pollution. And even ICAO, in the air handling manual, they have recommended airline not to turn on the APU and use the ground support equipment provided by the airport. Not all airports today provide ground power units and preconditioned air. One of the main reasons is the lack of electrical infrastructure at the airport. Fortunately, a lot of main airports in the world do provide such services. So here there are a few examples, like from Australia to Turkey, to UK, and to Doha, Qatar. And of course, not forgetting the most important and the most esteemed airport in Thailand, Suvarnabhumi Airport. ITW GSE supplied ground power units to Suvarnabhumi main terminal around 15 years ago. And recently, we are very proud to supply ground power units as well as preconditioned air to the new Satellite 1 terminal in Suvarnabhumi Airport. And that's very much thanks to CKE, Powerline, and AOT. So there are 28 contact stands in just Set 1. So if we assume that all the aircraft parked at the 28 gates in Satellite 1 turn off the APU and use the ground power units and preconditioned air supplied by AOT, we can save 90,000 tons of CO2 emission a year. This is equivalent to taking out 51,000 cars from the European Union. That's a lot of savings. And we'd like to thank AOT for doing this environmental sustainability effort. So I talk about the challenge of airport supplying fixed ground services, a lot of time is because there's a lack of electrical infrastructure. In the new design today, we just need one electrical supply to the preconditioned air, and the preconditioned air will then supply power to the other equipment. And this is the auto power sharing function or the intelligent power management. So this actually can save up to 50% of electrical infrastructure investment by AOT. The other source of emission is actually coming from all the diesel-powered equipment around the aircraft, such as a diesel-powered vehicle, a diesel-powered GPUs. In 2018, ITW GSC is the first in the world to launch the battery-powered eGPU. And you can see if we convert a diesel GPU to a battery eGPU, the customer can save up to 95% of CO2 emission. It's actually zero emission on the air side, but we factor in the emission from generation of electricity from the power plant. And there's also very low noise and low maintenance costs. We're very proud to say we have 2 eGPUs in Thailand, and this is thanks to the CP Group. We supplied 2 units in 2019 to Siam Land Flying in the Phuket VIP terminal. So this leads me to the very last slides of my presentation. This is a very good case study in Darwin Airport, Australia. So Darwin has the largest airside solar farm, and there's a lot of sunlight in Darwin. So there's a lot of free electricity generated from the solar farm. It is even enough to supply to the main terminal as well as there's excess power. So from the airport point of view, it is not economical to sell the excess power back to the grid. So they need to find a battery solution to keep or store the electrical power. And Darwin Airport actually bought 5 units of our eGPU. So they store the electricity into the eGPU and then connect to the aircraft. And this gives a true zero emission on our solution. So that's the end of my presentations, and I wish all the guests here have a wonderful dinner and an evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you ค่ะ Steven